Hello, I'm Maxwell Flitton, and you're listening to Chinese Whispers Podcast UK, the podcast that looks at statistics and how they're used and abused by political activists and politicians. You can follow us on iTunes, YouTube or Facebook. If you're listening to this on YouTube, the links are below. We've interrupted our schedule to provide a short emergency podcast in response to Jeremy Hunt's proposals at the weekend working hours for doctors. Usually our podcasts are 10 minutes long, but due to the nature and timing of this, we can only offer a shortened piece. Jeremy Hunt recently used the 16% statistic to try and push forward his agenda for weekend working hours for doctors. What does this mean? This means that you're 16% more likely to die if you're admitted to hospital over the weekend than if you're admitted during the week. This is pulled from the 2012 study in the Journal of the Royal Society of Medicine. In short, Jeremy Hunt was telling the truth. The study does show that you're more likely to die if you're admitted at the weekend than if you're admitted during the week. However, this is a one-dimensional statistic, and if anyone's listened to the previous podcasts, they get an idea of how these one-dimensional statistics are used and abused. What Jeremy Hunt failed to mention is that the study also showed that inpatients are less likely to die at the weekend than they are during the week. There could be a number of reasons for this. The study doesn't actually explain why. It can't. However, you can make some simple assumptions like there's less procedures going on during the weekend than they are during the week. This does punch a hole in the cause and effect theory that Jeremy Hunt has on weekend working hours for doctors and reducing this. The next logical step is to start blaming the admissions process, stating that admissions at the weekend are more dangerous. However, this is pulled apart when you actually look more in depth at the study. If we look at time-dependent outcomes, like a fractured neck of femur, the study showed that you have the same outcome if they're admitted at the weekend or during the week. So we cannot use this study to say that we need more staffing levels or we need more consultants during the weekend. Not in hospitals anyway. Furthermore, the study showed that there was actually less admissions during the weekend. What this means is that there is a change in the type of patients that are becoming admitted during the weekend. Maybe hospice patients may have to come in. I don't know, this is actually pure speculation. The study doesn't look into this. You can interpret this how you want. There's no further data to really explain. However, the study certainly does not back any notion that we should change weekend working hours for hospital. So how have the doctors responded? I mean, the key argument for Jeremy Hunt's agenda is very easily broken apart. We can professionally beat this up very quickly. Sadly, the response hasn't been too professional. Doctors took selfies over the weekend saying that they're in work. Of course, anyone who's actually listened or read Jeremy Hunt's statements, he makes it very clear that he acknowledges that there's loads of doctors at work over the weekend. So anyone who's bothered doing this will see these pictures for what they are, a cheap gimmick. The BMA also told Jeremy Hunt to get real, and there's been a lot of name-calling in terms of what Jeremy Hunt is actually all about. People see through these cheap tactics. Although I do not agree with what the Daily Mail actually writes on a daily basis, it is the most widely read paper, and when it polled its readers, 75% of the readers said that doctors should work weekends. Name-calling and selfies will not actually change their opinion. Some medics need to frankly grow up when it comes to politics. The statistics are not on Jeremy Hunt's side. We do not need gimmicks to try and prove a point. The reason why the National Rifle Association is so successful in America is that it has economists, it does statistics, it picks a few politicians that are responsible for policy change and it puts pressure on them. It does it in a professional manner. Instead of posting selfies, doctors should be working to highlight the flaws in the key underlying reasoning behind Jeremy Hunt's proposal. His main supporting statistic is one-dimensional, misleading, and false for the agenda of change that he wants. Thank you for listening. Next time we'll be looking at statistics in Ferguson and how they're used and abused to make the police look